This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top questions and things you struggle with most so you can have more energy and less decision fatigue about what to eat, how to move, and you can change your thoughts to Flip 50 with the life and the energy you love in this second half. And today, I'll have to tell you, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm sharing something that I'm becoming really vulnerable as I do this. So this is a self-reveal about an experiment that I've been doing for the last 3 months, and yet it's a little counter to the stance I take. So I'm talking all about fasting. I'll hit a little bit on intermittent fasting, but I'll link to some prior posts I've done on Flipping 50 about that for those of you interested in what we know about fasting, intermittent fasting, and women in menopause or postmenopause, because that's the real important question. There's tons of research out there right now, tons of articles out there right now on intermittent fasting or fasting. But the question for you and for me, I'm guessing if you're here, is does it apply to us? And the question is, how much stress are you already under? Because diet of any kind is stress. And there is a lot more physiological stress on your body when you're fasting than when you're not. So we need to really look at what's going on with you and whether or not it's appropriate. But this blog, basically, this audio blog or podcast today is covering the relationship between the fasting mimicking diet and sleep. So I'm going to share with you the results of fasting on my sleep. As many of my followers, listeners, subscribers already know, I don't advocate fasting for everyone. Many of the women I work with have a relationship with food that first has to improve overall so that we don't set up a binge purge cycle. So if you've got a dysfunctional or emotional eating pattern from your history and you know who you are, and most women do, right? You're not alone. It's probably not a good idea to start restricting. So we've got to become friends with food first. I believe that a strong foundation first with what are you eating on a regular basis has to be there before you begin on a continuum of fasting. That continuum starts with at least 12 hours overnight without eating and going between meals without eating. Many women that I begin working with are not doing that simple step that can enhance hormone balance. So that is for you to do after you've identified what's your best dietary plan right now. Before you manipulate when or if you eat, you need to make sure you're eating what's right for your body and that you're absorbing all the micronutrients from those foods. Fasting is something you may do for a short time for a positive benefit, both during, but actually the better benefits happen after. But you've got to have a good foundation that you jump off of and that you come back to when the fast is over every day. You'll create a stronger, healthier, more vibrant body with your daily habit. And I'll link to Flipping 50's 28-day kickstart. If you want support finding your best foundation, that's really what that's all about, is giving you a blueprint. Given my stance on fasting, it may surprise you that I've tested the fasting mimicking diet developed at the Longevity Institute at USC, University of Southern California. I've used it in the last 3 months, and that means it's 5 days out of each month, so you wait another 4 weeks and repeat. And because I don't have significant weight to lose or major concerns with health markers from blood tests, my biggest reason for trying it was that I never recommend something that I haven't used. And I'm frequently asked about fasting for weight loss, for health concerns, more so weight loss, and the interaction with menopause symptoms. So I tested. And I'll use fast throughout this podcast to refer to the fasting mimicking diet. So I'll explain in a bit what exactly that is. And I want to share with you the facts here that were totally surprising to me. My sleep improvement was a shocker. I didn't expect it. I wasn't looking for it. I was really kind of looking at, okay, am I going to be really hungry? Am I going to be able to focus, and be more productive at work? And the answer to those questions was no, I wasn't hungry. Number two, I was actually more focused and productive, and I had more time. It dawned on me just how much we actually think about food, and planning it and preparing it. And what am I going to eat for breakfast and lunch and dinner? And, although I have the breakfast nailed, I almost always have a smoothie. The rest of mealtime takes up some time and space in your brain. But the sleep improved and it shocked me. I hadn't expected it, and I'm already a good sleeper. I know the value of sleep on physical performance and optimal weight and energy, so I have good sleep habits. And since beginning a regular fasting program 3 months ago, I've had even more restful sleep. I'm waking less and feeling more refreshed in the morning. So it was like an upgrade that I hadn't expected. It would be like showing up at the airport at the counter expecting that your seat is number 38D in the aisle seat and finding out, surprisingly, that you not only have TSA pre-check, but you have been gifted an upgrade to first class. Sweet, right? At 54, I've experienced minor and really very infrequent hot flashes and night sweats that I'm not even absolutely sure that's what they were. I attribute that good fortune so far to a good diet, knowing what I need, good habits, and a dreamy bed. My sleep number bed with a dual temp layer, meaning I can control the temperature that I'm sleeping on, has been a big part of buffing up my sleep in this last 8 months. So again, in January, I thought of myself already as a good sleeper. I've had good sleep habits since I was a teenager. I've never, in fact, had bad sleep habits. I would never have guessed a mattress would make so much difference. Hormone balance begins with sleep. I'd love to tell you hormone balance begins with exercise. And in one way, for you, if you're listening, it may be the catalyst that helps you sleep better. But sleep is where hormones begin their balance to make your day better in terms of the energy, the productivity, the reduction of hot flashes, the improvement in your metabolism from the exercise that you're doing. A good mattress should be a prescription for women in perimenopause. Fasting, too, may be a part of cracking your own code on hormone balance. So during the fasting mimicking diet, you're eating an overall low-calorie plant-based diet. You actually get to eat 3 meals and snacks depending on the day. Your body is tricked, though, into a fasting state where it begins to burn ketones or fat rather than sugar for fuel. It's the re-entry into healthy eating after the fast. You do the fast for 5 days. Day 6, you do an easy re-entry and really think of just recovering from the flu. You don't go back to eating pizza and pasta the next day, right? You ease back into it with easy to digest food. So steamed vegetables, some fish. In fact, that practically describes my day yesterday, my day 6, because I'm just coming off. It's so much like the workouts that you do provide you the opportunity for fitness, but the rest between your sessions is when fitness actually happens. During the 5 days of the fast, everyone's experiences are reportedly different, both on a daily basis and overall. My own 3-day or my own 5-day fasts were each unique. It's kind of like pregnancies, potentially. The first fast had novelty. I didn't know what to expect, and I felt good and more energetic during the day and rested surprisingly well at night. And again, that really left me thinking, wow, what is this? I say surprisingly well because I enjoy good sleep most nights already. I wasn't looking for improvement there. I was actually more ready to go to bed though, and woke more refreshed than I usually do. There's not a ton of science connecting sleep and fasting. Some of the superficial information is really basic. You know this. Having too large a dinner or skipping dinner both tend to disrupt our sleep. It turns out there's scientific evidence that fasting increases parasympathetic output, and that's the part of our nervous system that you need for quality sleep. So if you crash right now during the day and you stare at the ceiling at night, like many students before they start Flipping 50 programs or private coaching with me, you'll love this. Fasting can improve that circadian rhythm, meaning you sleep again and you're awake during the day. No surprise to my Flipping 50 fans who know me for my hormone balancing exercise and lifestyle programs. There are hormones involved in this fasting sleep improvement phenomena. Serotonin is that feel-good hormone, and more of it calms us down. And melatonin is a hormone that regulates sleep. Melatonin production, you may remember from prior posts, is reduced with age. Fasting helps increase your body's production of both those hormones that are key to sleep, so you can get a better night. I found that though I had slightly different overall experiences during each of the 3 5-day fasts I did, I was able to fall asleep faster and sleep deeper. Now, I didn't sleep longer, which some fasters will report, but that was likely due to the fact that I am by nature a long sleeper and I regularly enjoy 8, if not 9 hours. I found the first fast easy. It was novel, and interestingly enough, I began it after a 12-hour fast that I had to do for a blood test, which felt like, a bit of momentum. So my first meal that morning after I had a blood draw was a part of the fasting mimicking diet. The second time, a month later, the novelty of the 5-day fast had worn off. I knew what to expect. And by day 3 and 4, the toughest for me psychologically, not physically, I was over it. I wanted to chew something, and there were a lot of soups. There's a little chewing, but not a lot. On day 5, it was nearly done, and so it was easy to finish. But mind you, I never felt it was hard to do physically. The third time, I experienced the most psychological resistance. I was committed to doing it, but though I knew I felt noticeably different during and long after the last 2, I was inconvenienced. I had to turn down some social opportunities, lunch invitations with family members, and dinner with out-of-state guests. Both came during that fast, and I declined. Would I do it again? I will, though not soon. So unless you have significant amount of weight to lose and or significant health markers, say your inflammation levels are high or certain other health markers or issues from blood tests, and you're encouraged to do this by your doctor, if you're of normal weight, it's probably not something that you need to do, but it is potentially a catalyst for getting you to be very mindful elsewhere. I've got noticeable results in addition to the sleep. I also reduced my coffee by 66%. That has to help cholesterol or cortisol levels. I felt less bloating, though it wasn't a complaint to begin with necessarily. You don't know how good you can feel until you do. I'm also so much more keenly aware of the amount of food I was eating out of just habit. I need less except when I'm exercising, and I'm much more mindful about that now. If you're seeking some hormone support naturally and a sleep aid with nothing but positive side effects, reach out for more information about the fasting mimicking diet and your hormone balance. And I'll leave the resources down below this if you want to dig in with a little science geek or you want to connect. I'll put the information down below, and I'd love to hear your comments about fasting, mimicking diets, or intermittent fasting. And I will see you on the flip side. And if you could, leave a rating in iTunes if this has been helpful or insightful, or you know somebody else flirting with fasting. And then share this with a friend to surround yourself with a supportive community of women on the same journey. What are you waiting for? Start flipping 50 today.